and welcome to another video blog from home. Today on A Vogel Talks Menopause, I am going to be talking about aches and pains in the menopause and how you can ease them. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. Feeling aches and pains is a really common menopause symptom. The problem is there's so many different types and women can experience them in various intensities and various frequencies, and sometimes they can come and go and disappear for a while and then come back again. So today I thought I would look at some of the common aches and pains and what you can do to help yourself. Pain in the menopause is not really well understood. They know that there is a link between falling estrogen and pain and inflammation, but also our sense of pain can increase, especially through things like weight gain, poor sleep, and stress. So all of these things can contribute together to make us feel more aches and pains. So the most common ones, number one is joint pain. This can happen anywhere. It can be one single joint. Somebody can say, oh, I've got a really sore finger and it's worse in the morning and that's it. For others, it can be aches and pains in the joints all over. So there's no rhyme or reason for this. It can just depend on the individual person. This is caused mainly two reasons. One is low estrogen can affect the ability of your ligaments and tendons to stretch, so they can shrink, and what happens then is that it pulls the joints tight, and that's when you start to feel stiffness and aches and pains and possibly a little bit of inflammation. Falling estrogen can also make us really dehydrated, and dehydration again will affect the joints, causing mobility issues, and especially first thing in the morning you get that achiness and stiffness that doesn't go away until you start moving about. So the main things here, water. Honestly, it can be so good for joint aches and pains, so don't forget the water. You can also look at supplements such as a fish oil, or if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can look at a flaxseed oil. And we have our lovely licensed product for joint aches and pains called Atrazan, which is made from the herb Devil's Claw. Secondly is muscle pain. You can sometimes feel as if you've just run a marathon. You can get them anywhere again, but it does tend to be very often the arms and the legs, sometimes the shoulders and the back of the neck. Some women find they get muscle ache in the lungs, so they get very uncomfortable if they take a deep breath or if they bend down or twist round. This one is mainly due to low magnesium, and they do know that there is a very specific link between falling estrogen and the body's ability to absorb and utilize magnesium. So for this particular issue, magnesium is one of the best supplements you can take. You would be looking at roughly 150 to 200 milligrams of magnesium on a daily basis. Don't forget the water, because dehydration can be an issue. Low protein in your diet can be another factor, so look at your diet. Are you getting a decent sized portion of protein at every meal? If not, you may find upping your protein can help. And exercise. If you are not moving, if you're not exercising regularly, then that can contribute to muscle aches and pains. It's one of these things, use it or lose it. Number three is breast pain. This tends to be more common in the perimenopause, whilst you still may be getting periods of some kind, although it can happen during the menopause as well. There tends to be several issues here. It can be dehydration. Breast tissue is almost like a sponge, and if you are dehydrated, the body will find places in order to store water. And if you find that your breasts are getting really rock hard, especially just before a period, very often that's the dehydration. It can also be due to fluctuating hormones, again just before a period. After the menopause, some women find it can be cyclical. So although you're not getting any periods, you may still get a bit of a hormonal cycle. So breast pain and tenderness, maybe you'll get for a few days every month. Eventually that will go as your hormones start to settle down. But for those of you, especially in the perimenopause, if your periods are still reasonably regular, you could try the herb Agnus castus, which is known to help with breast pain. Remember the water, really important, especially just before your period is due. And some women find that kelp can be very helpful for breast tenderness. So maybe that's something that's worth trying. Number 4 is headaches. This is a really common one. It was quite a surprise to find this, but many women do suffer from headaches. It can be posture. If you're sitting for so long at a desk, then you can just get really stiff behind your neck and on your shoulders, and that can contribute to tension headaches. But the main thing here is really simple things. It's dehydration, and it can also be low blood sugars as well, can trigger headaches. So for this one, make sure that you get magnesium to relax the muscles, and this can often help with migraines as well. And remember to drink loads of water and to eat little and often. Other triggers can be caffeine. A lot of women find that caffeine and high salt and sugar foods can trigger headaches. So if you're getting headaches regularly, it may be worth doing a little food and drink diary for a week to see if you can find any links by what you're eating and drinking. And normally, if it's something that's going to trigger a headache, you'll get a headache quite soon afterwards. The next one is dental pain. This can be, seems quite a strange one, but a number of things can happen here. As your estrogen starts to fall, it can affect the gums. Your gums can start to recede, which will leave your teeth much more vulnerable to decay. So you can get really sore gums, your gums can bleed. That can eventually lead to loosening teeth, which can give dental pain. It can also be just due to the fact that you're not getting enough calcium in your diet to keep the teeth really stable. This is one here, if it's bleeding gums, if it's sore gums, if it's receding gums, there is a supplement called CoQ10, which can be very, very helpful. Also make sure you drink plenty of water, because the dehydration can do it, especially if you're getting a dry mouth and sore teeth too. And watch your toothpaste, because a lot of the normal toothpaste contain an awful lot of chemicals, and these can really upset sore, inflamed and sensitive gums. In this situation though, it's always a good idea just to double check with your doctor. So the other things you can do here to manage pain is to look at your stress levels, maybe take some nice calming stress remedies, or add in a vitamin B complex. If sleep is an issue, and they know that poor sleep raises our perception of pain, you could look at our lovely Dormezan, which is licensed for sleep. And remember that relaxation, it can be very, very helpful for all sorts of menopause problems. So that's a really important one generally. And try and stay active if you can. If you're moving about every day, that can produce feel-good chemicals which will lift our mood, and that will reduce our pain perception. So I hope you found this one helpful. Any of you out there have experienced any other types of pain, and you're maybe wondering how you can cope with them, please let us know. And I will see you next week for another A Vogel Talks Menopause.